welcome back to my channel and welcome to a new baking video. I have to say I'm so sorry that it's been so long since I've made a vegan baking video. I am currently 30 weeks pregnant, and for the last few weeks I've just been doing everything that I could to get ready for my baby girl who is due in July. So I'm happy to report that we've pretty much got everything kind of in place, ready to go. So I am back in the kitchen and I'm back to sharing some more recipe and baking videos with you guys. So the recipe that I chose to share today is really perfect for this quarantine time that we're in. It's my pumpkin cranberry breakfast loaf, and I actually created this recipe myself. I was really kind of searching for a recipe that I could have as a quick breakfast, but that was still healthy and it wasn't muffins. So I just wanted something that was like in a loaf that I could just easily slice up, and it was just faster, quicker to make. And I just realized this today, but this recipe is actually oil-free. So if you've been like me and indulging a little bit during this quarantine time, this is a little bit of a healthier kind of breakfast option for you guys. All right, before we get to making the recipe, I would love for you guys to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, and make sure to ring that notification bell because then you will know when my next video is out. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna start off with is our chia seeds, as well as our plant-based milk. I am choosing to use a coconut milk today just because I have that already open in the fridge. Any plant-based milk that you have will work. And actually I have completely run out of vanilla, so I haven't had vanilla for a long time, and this is actually a vanilla flavored coconut milk, so that kind of works out for this recipe. So what you want to do is you just want to stir the chia seeds into the coconut milk, and the idea here is that you just want to have no clumps so that we can just kind of let this sit off to the side for a little while until the chia seeds soak up all of that coconut milk, and it will actually form this kind of jelly-like texture. And this is basically acting like our egg replacer. And if you don't have chia seeds on hand, ground flax seeds will actually work as well. Okay, so I'm going to just set this aside for a second. So in the meantime, I just wanted to mention something about this recipe. So like I was saying, it's perfect for quarantine time because so many of these ingredients can easily be switched out for other ingredients. So this is called a pumpkin loaf, but it doesn't have to be a pumpkin loaf. So if you don't have any pumpkin puree on hand at home, what you can do is just substitute the pumpkin puree with more mashed bananas and you'll get the same result. It's just going to be more of like a banana bread flavor. You can also sub out the cranberries for other frozen fruit, or you could put in dried fruit like dried raisins, dried cranberries, dried figs or dates. Anything will work really. You can also add in chocolate chips. So there's a lot of options for kind of flavors for this recipe, which is why I think it's just so perfect for right now. And I love the fact that you can just kind of make it your own and use the things that you like to eat. Okay, so we've got that jelly-like consistency. So we're ready to move on. Okay, so next I'm just going to add in the rest of our wet ingredients. So I've got some apple cider vinegar, some coconut sugar, and I've got the pumpkin puree as well as my one mashed banana. Okay, so I'm just ready to, oh, shoot, whoopsies. Okay, take two. All right, so I'm just going to be mixing all of these together until it's nice and combined. There we go. Now it's just a matter of putting in the rest of the ingredients, so the dry ingredients along with our frozen cranberries. So first I'm gonna be adding the oat flour, and if you don't have oat flour on hand, don't worry. As long as you have oats, all you have to do to make oat flour is literally just blend them. I use my magic bullet to blend my oats, and they can be rolled oats like the large kind or the quick oats. Any kind of oats will work as long as it's not steel cut oats. You can also use a blender or a Cuisinart to grind up your oats. So I'm just gonna dump that in there. And I also am adding the whole oats. So I'm using these large flaked oats. It's just what I had on hand. So I'm gonna throw that in there. And then I have got my baking powder, baking soda, and salt all in here. So I'm just gonna dump that in. And because I am making the pumpkin version of this loaf, I am adding in some pumpkin pie spice. And I actually made my own pumpkin pie spice because I didn't have any on hand. So I just blended a bunch of different spices together. I will actually link the recipe that I follow for that spice blend below in the description. And I'm also adding some cinnamon. So these are some of the notes that I will make in the recipe below in terms of flavor. So if you're not making this a pumpkin loaf, then you don't have to add in the pumpkin pie spice unless you want to. So there's lots of variations for flavors. So I'm actually just going to mix this up before adding in the cranberries right at the end. And I just want to mention that your dough is going to be on the thicker side. So it is not a loose dough whatsoever. And as you can see, it actually kind of really comes together and forms a dough and all sticks together. That's perfect. I'm not going to stir anymore. I'm just going to add in my cranberries, fold those in, and then we can put it in the pan. All right, so that looks perfect right now. So I've got my loaf pan here. This is a 4x8 loaf pan. If you wanted to make these into muffins, you absolutely could. I just think it's super easy making it into a loaf and then literally just slicing it up. And the beauty about this recipe, you can always freeze it as well if you don't want to eat it all right away, but I have a feeling you might. So I'm just putting all of my dough into the loaf pan and just scraping this all off into there. And then I'm just going to smooth it out with my spatula. You want to just kind of press your dough literally in, and you just want to smooth it out so that you don't have any like air pockets. Put that little bit in there. All right, that looks perfect and ready to go into the oven. I love the smell of this. So because this is oil-free, I figured we can afford to put a little bit of coconut oil or whatever you want on top. That's my favorite way to eat it. So you'll notice the texture of this is actually a little bit dense, but it's still super soft and moist, and I find it just holds together really nicely, and it really does give me that kind of like bread vibe. And my favorite part about this is that it's not sweet. So there's just a hint of sweetness, and I think it's just the perfect way to start your morning. I really hope you guys enjoy this recipe and enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to give the video a like, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more baking videos in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!